Hey there, guys. Welcome back. Doing another live today. So, this one is a really important topic. This is one of those topics that you take your entire life to figure out. This has been one of the most tried and tested theories for me, and I'm sure others out there listening can resonate with this concept too. This concept of knowing thyself. Knowing your self-worth, knowing how to value yourself, knowing how to love yourself. And a lot of times people have asked me, Sum, how'd you get so confident? I'm not really that confident. I've just trained my self-awareness to know myself. And by knowing myself, I can then figure out what is my internal ecosystem like, and how can I become the best version of that. Our minds can only process like a limited amount of information, right? At the same time, we have a mechanism in our brain that kind of filters all the upcoming signals we have. And kind of only those important symbols come through to us, and it would be impossible to function without it because our brains have this kind of weird selection process that we automatically just go in autopilot without our conscious effort. And you can do what you can to get forward with this, but just know that your brain needs input. It needs better input. So what are the things that you're consuming? What are the things that you're watching? What is the music that you're listening to on a daily basis? Are you really, maybe you're just like, oh, I just love the beats, but the lyrics, they're sinking in there too. Just be aware of that. And in other words, you're basically tuning your senses to control the quality of your life. And your brain receives and it gives, and it receives and it gives. And it's basically like a radio frequency. It's like if you have to tune your radio to your channel, to your FM, and make sure that it's an inspiring radio channel. Don't make it go all distorted and then mix to other channels that other people around you, what their frequencies are telling you. Because if we do that, we become really sensitive to our environment and other people around us. And we start to get their heterosuggestions. Someone, if you're on a boat and someone tells you, hey, you're feeling a little bit sick. You weren't feeling sick, but as soon as they said that, you were like, you questioned it. That little bit of questioning, your mind makes it. The little bit of doubt, self-doubt creeps in. It makes you sick. Your thoughts have an impact. Others in your environment. Think of it like this: if you have a healthy mind, you know the disease is everywhere. You know this is all bacteria, all this stuff around us. But we can be immune to it if we know ourselves, if we know we have a healthy presence, we have a positive intention, we're going throughout the world immune to all the negativity, to all the hate, to all the self-doubt that is out there. And so Lao Tzu said, without leaving my house, without opening the door, I can know the whole world. Why did he say that? Well, clearly this man is very, very profound, intelligent, enlightened, whatever you want to call it. I don't like the word enlightenment. I think you just need to lighten up. That's my way of enlightenment, at least. But why did he say this? There was clearly some kind of wisdom there that he was drawing to, saying that we know the whole world without even stepping out of the house. What he means is the rooms, the chambers, the mansion internally in our mind, in our bodies, knowing ourselves so much that we know when we react. So self-awareness builds confidence, and confidence comes from evidence. We don't give ourselves enough evidence that we're confident, that we're worthy. We need to find ways to celebrate our little wins. Even just like, for instance, I'm trying to drink more water. That's a win. In my eyes, that's a splash win. But we don't acknowledge these little wins, and we just forget about it because our brain is prone towards survival-based mentality and survival-based thinking. And when we are growing up in an environment where we have less resources, it's really difficult to recondition ourselves, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. And so artists who keep their art to themselves, let me ask you a question. Why do you do that? Could be a fear, could be a hesitation, but mainly, don't you think it's a little bit selfish? Fact is, you have this gift, you're exploring your gift, you're trying to discover your passion, but you're not sharing it with anybody. You're keeping it all to yourself. This is mine. These are my illustrations. This is my musical project. Forget the audience. This is all for me. My enjoyment. As we realize that, as I continuously study myself day in and day out, I start to see my own ego as a kind of creature, as a kind of monster, as a kind of persona that I'm playing. And it's wild. I mean, it's really wild because it starts to become really surreal. But knowing my own reactions, knowing my own fears, knowing the way that I interpret situations, knowing the way that I watch things, I'm studying myself. And so make it a study to know oneself, to know yourself, to know thyself. That's the biggest lesson in life, really, isn't it? We come into this world, especially now with so much focus on identity, especially young people. We always have this inclination towards identity, and especially me growing up in different cultures, I know that identity and fitting in and trying to mesh and intermingle and adapt to different environments was a struggle. But I know that through that struggle, there came great presence, and presence with a S, with a C. And so once you're moving forward with this and you're honing in on something and you know that you have a skill to give, you have a high profitable, high level, high status skill that you have to share with the rest of the world, you know that people will try and copy you. People will try and imitate you. Well, you know what they say, impersonation is the best form of flattery. So just keep moving forward. And of course, there's going to be people that are copying you, and you might get a little bit annoyed by that. But the fact is, that's only one or two or three or four people, whereas the millions of other people that might see this message today and they might be inspired to go on that internal journey and shine that light inwards and look and see any idiosyncrasies or weird things that are sticking out to them. You know what I'm saying? So basically, what I'm telling you is you're sitting on your own creativity. You're sitting on it and you don't know what to do with it. I know what that's like. I've been there. I know exactly what that's like. it's frustrating, and it's sad. It's really scary to put yourself out there and to be judged by people, but that's okay. I mean, you can only be the juiciest peach in the world, but someone will still prefer mangoes. You don't have to try and become a mango. You just have to keep being that peach that you know that you are. I think that's a quote I got from somewhere, but it's a bit paraphrased, but that's the basic gist of it. Is if you begin to think nobody cares about me, nobody loves me, nobody knows me, nobody understands me, then that's what you are going to be getting, because we get what we expect. We get what we expect, and it's time you recognize your worth. And your worth is based on the amount of value that you're giving to people and seeking others who find value in your skills, because not everybody is going to find value in this video, but there are some that will. There are some that's going to listen to this point and be like, wow, that really helped me. Thank you. And if you have any idea or creativity that you know that you have and you value tremendously, then I urge you to put it out there and to get feedback, even if it's good or positive. I mean, finding that balance between what your passion is and if you can profit off of it. Really find that balance. And not everybody wants to do this. Not everybody goes in, and it's not really about, it's not about the money or anything at all. It's more about what is the impact, and are you serving people? And this came a little bit late for me in my journey. I know I'm saying journey as if it's been a really long time. I've only started this business and in the coaching industry about a year ago, to be frank with you. But throughout this entire time, I've learned so much in just this short span of time. And I know it's about really cleaning up what is inside of us by really shining the light inwards. And a lot of this stuff, so many simple truths, so many successful principles are so true. They're cliches, they're modern common sense, they're in the vocabulary. We can find it easily. Giving, one of the biggest skills, like the Go-Giver. I've been reading this really powerful book. It's just a story. And if you see some of these rules, you'll be like, wow, that's it? That's at least my mentality going into it. But then I started to realize, okay, there's something greater to this. I am a person of service to others. I am healing myself, and in the process of healing myself, I'm also healing others. There is a transformation taking place. And in any transformation, transform meaning beyond beauty, transformation, right? Meaning beyond, trans meaning beyond, formation, the body, the beauty of the, not necessarily the body formation, but also just beauty in general, aesthetic, going beyond it. So as we transform, we actually lose a certain part of us that becomes new. The butterfly is in the cocoon. When the caterpillar is in the cocoon, it goes through this dark space, this isolation. They're honed in. It's uncomfortable. It's dark. It's scary. They know the other side. There's a beautiful, glorious avenue available on the other side, but to go through that process, there's a little bit of pain, and there's a little bit of discomfort, and there's suffering involved, and there's anger. But if we can tune into that anger and find a way to use it as rocket fuel instead of it being us using it as gunpowder to ourselves, and just understanding that all of the things that we face, if we're completely honest with ourselves and we aren't repressing ourselves back, because so many of my clients, I I see this with them and I see this with myself, is that we're holding each other back. We're like, we're trying to know and notice what is going on, but at the same time, we're not fully being able to express ourselves. And through these live videos, this is what I'm doing, is I'm pushing this stuff out there. It's no more this, oh, this is my pain, let me hold on to it. If you feel pain, just know that there's so many people out there that are feeling a similar pain. The more personal it is to you, the more universal it is. So if you think, oh my God, I've been through a horrible breakup, if you talk to the other people who've gone through even more traumatic breakups than you and realize, like, oh my God, that's nothing, like that is nothing compared to what they've gone through. And I'm not saying to compare yourself with other people. Absolutely not. I mean, the sun and moon shine at their own time. I know that for a fact. But at the same time, if you just know that you are not alone in this, knowing yourself, everybody's on this journey. And we don't have it fully figured out. Nobody does. But we have some idea. If you speak with certainty and enough conviction, people will believe you. Hey, that guy knows what he's talking about. And that's the weird thing about it. It's life is a paradox. But it's okay. The mystery is exciting. If we knew everything routine, if we knew everything was just set in stone, where's the fun in that? Where's the excitement? Where's the drivers? And throughout knowing myself and understanding the little boy inside me, the little childlike self of mine, the little funny dude, cracks a lot of jokes. Seeing that side of me, I get delighted. And then I see another side of me, the awkward side of me, the shy version of me. I'm like, oh, look how far I've come. I don't have to dwell on that. I used to have, I used to be terrified of phones growing up because there's so many phone calls coming into our household as a child. It used to drive me wild as a child, a little kid, wild as a child. You see, I'm already rapping. Basically, what happened in those moments is I would hear this constant ringing and buzzing, and it became like a noise that I was really dissatisfied with in myself. And that took a lot of unprocessing. And this was not through a therapist or anything. I didn't have to go through that process. I just reflected. I took time to sit down with myself and ask myself questions just like a therapist would. How are you feeling? We don't do that with ourselves. We're like our own wise gurus taking care of this mental patient, but we have to treat them kinder. We have to treat them with more compassion, because what we're doing is, you're a loser. We're speaking to ourselves as if like, oh, you failed once? Psh, tough luck, buddy. We're being like a drill sergeant, whereas we can be more of like a kindergarten teacher to ourselves and be like, it's okay, bud. Hang in there. You're going to get through this. But for some reason, we have such, as human beings, become so attached to the outcome. We're like in this environment where it's like really results oriented. And this is why I love the mixing of it, that I come from this culture, from India, and coming here to to America and seeing the individualistic and the collectivist culture. And I'm really trying to figure out a way to merge the two, because we do need individuality. We do need that drive, and results are awesome. I'm not saying like getting results, getting shit done is amazing. But there's another side to it that is a human side, that is a in Thailand, they mention Grang Jai, right? And all these other Eastern cultures mention compassion and gratitude to such degree, and different religions stem from love, and we have to have a balance of both, especially if we're running a business, especially if we're an entrepreneur and we're putting ourselves out there. It's like taking a big risk. Because if we don't have one foot in the spiritual and one foot in the business minded, focused, structured, basically the masculine and feminine side, so fully integrated part of ourselves. If we don't have that figured out, we're not really knowing ourselves. We're understanding the different levels of our personality, and we can start to slowly embody the different aspects of ourselves that make us truly powerful by just recognizing who it is we are. And that's a big question. I mean, in Sanskrit, they talk about Atman, which is the soul. I mean, it goes beyond what is just normal of the I that we speak into existence, because the I is not our bodies, right? Because our bodies change over time. That's always changing. It's not our age. We're not our careers, because our career path keeps changing. Who knows what I'll be doing years from now, but I know that I am a consciousness. I know that I have energy, and this is getting a little bit philosophical, a little bit esoteric, but the people who hear me out, because you know exactly what I'm on about, and you know how much vibrations affect people, and you know how much good energy affects people. It's infectious. It's like, ooh, bright, positive smile, jovial attitude towards life, whatever's coming your way. It's like, ooh, I can let it sting, but I'm gonna be like, bring it on, baby. And that takes courage. Instead of saying, oh, why me? Why me? Why me? Oh, Buddha, Allah, God, etc. Why me? Instead of saying, why me? I want you to shift your perspective. Just for a second. Just try this. Try on this new attitude. Just for a second. Instead of saying, why me? Say, try me. Bring it on. What was that? That was like a little flea. And that might sound a little bit conceited to some people. That might sound a little bit cocky. But having the structure in place, knowing that, and knowing that the mindset, it isn't really about the mindset. It's more like the mindset is creating the pathway, the bridge towards you doing what you really want to do and giving you the freedom to do what you want to do. This has been a really long rant. I think we're going over 20 minutes, so I'm going to end it here. However, and thank you for the love, the hearts, and the comments, guys. Thank you so much. It's just so exciting, this newfound energy that I keep seeing in different people, and by interacting with them, I get to understand it. I get to understand the higher levels of consciousness on a much more deeper level, because we are all one, and that's really eccentric to say to some people. They're like, what do you mean we're all one? We're all different. What are you talking about? But hey, we all poop, we all have bodies, unless we all have souls, right? And we can't prove that, but we know there's something out there with energy. And it's the more we start discovering it, the more we start unlayering ourselves, the more that we take time to really process ourselves and not overthink so much. And I know this, a lot of this video is overthinking, but that overthinking is helping to guide perspective, is helping to shift things into alignment. By having the clarity and by having truth flow out of your mouth like a waterfall, what it does is it just clears up a lot of baggage, emotional baggage inside. And just by doing that, by putting yourself out there without expecting anything in return, without being like, oh, I deserve this or this is mine, but knowing it, really knowing it, that it's fine. You're fine. You're okay. You're not broken. And even if something is broken, it can be fixed. You can heal. And at least that's a big part of it for me. So anyway, have an amazing day. Have an awesome Thursday. And I'll catch you guys later, all right? Thanks for following me. Thanks for keeping up with my content. I appreciate it. I'm so dang grateful. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.